Hello everyone, Mr. Lipchik here, and our topic for discussion is the separatist conflict in Quebec. The separatist movement of Quebec, Canada, to achieve independence from the nation is notable for its evolving into a peaceful debate. The origins of the separatist movement go back to the early days of colonization in Quebec and conflicts between British and French settlers. During the French and Indian War, as England and France competed for world domination, the English took control of the city of Quebec in September 1759. English General James Wolfe commanded the victorious British force. Wolfe's strategy was to descend 9 miles along the St. Lawrence River at night and to launch an assault on Quebec from Foulon Cove. Initially, Wolfe suffered losses that he attributed to the newness of the wilderness fighting to his troops and their lack of training. He eventually took Quebec with a force of 5,000 boats on the St. Lawrence River at night. The British scaled a cliff to the Plains of Abraham above Quebec. There the British defeated the French. Although France had discovered and colonized Quebec, it had to surrender to England after the war. The French residents of Quebec lived under British rule into the 20th century. Although given large amounts of autonomy, cultural conflicts with the English occurred, particularly over French language rights. The greatest source of conflict was that regarding religion, as most English were Protestant and most French were Catholic. The Catholic Church in Quebec had great power and ran most public institutions, including schools, hospitals, and universities. Language is a critical part of culture, and many French people in Quebec, called Québécois, were fearful that they would lose their identity if unable to use their language. Eventually, a compromise would be reached with both French and English as Canada's national languages. Some historians point to Charles de Gaulle's speech in 1967 at the World's Fair as the modern beginning of the independence movement for Quebec. Québécois referred to the Catholic English Canadians who held most of the power in Quebec as Anglophones. The Parti Québécois is the first political party to advocate for Quebec's independence. The Bloc Québécois later advocated Quebec independence on the national level. Today, Quebec separatist movement is in decline. The younger generations are not as religious as the older ones were. Most young people in Quebec are bilingual and do not remember the conflict of the older generations regarding language. Most immigrants to Quebec learn English. That concludes our discussion on the separatist movement in Quebec. Thank you for attending, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lesson. Have a great day.